everybody, it's your girl, Pajama, with Pajama Life. And today we have got a really fun lineup of different types of TV shows. We're going to review Loki, the second episode, and GenV. We're going to review a couple episodes of that, and the book It Turned Into a Movie, The Other Black Girl, on Hulu. So I couldn't do these reviews without my favorite friends. Say hey to the people. David.
Hey everybody, great to be with you on what has been a chilly, rainy, cold day at our nation's capital, but a lot of fun things to talk about tonight. So get your popcorn, get your notepads, and let's break down these shows.
All right. And we couldn't review anything about Marvel without our favorite guru of all things Marvel. Say hey to the people, Patrick.
Hey everybody, great shows to talk about tonight. Got some interesting things going on, so can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah, and we're trying to do something that has a little bit of a twist for Halloween each week, to get ready for the scary season. So, but first up, let's take a look at, what do we have? GenV.
My parents are dead because I killed them. I didn't know I had powers.
You're looking for your roommate, but she's not the only girl you're looking for.
Since when do you care about anyone not named Jordan?
Tech fucking Knight is on campus. He fucks people up.
How long have you been eating Golden Boy's girlfriends whole?
The school is a fucking Mangala health clinic. We don't know who's in on it.
Dr. Cardoza, he hurt me and he won't leave me alone.
You have to kill him!
Is someone after you, Sam? I mean, do you need help?
There are dangerous, evil people at that school.
I am this fucking close to perfecting the viable way to control them for good.
Hey, move, this scumbag's mine.
Andre, wait. I'm gonna find a way to fix this. I'm gonna make you remember.
Remember what?
That you're a hero. A real one.
Oh man, these are past 2 weeks. We reviewed episode 4 and episode 5. So, Patrick, what did you think of GenV?
Wow, it's really taken the boys to the next level, and that's not always a good thing because wow, there was a lot going on.
Lots of dicks.
Spoiler. Yeah, that was shocking, and it takes a lot to shock me. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like going. I had a few moments like, did that just happen on TV? And I'm like, yeah, it did. And so I really like, but I do, I'm okay with that, and that's fine. But man, it was definitely startling. I guess definitely shocking. I'm okay with the adult content, and obviously this is 125% adult content. I mean,
yes,
they're dealing with some real good subjects, and I do appreciate the way they're dealing with some very interesting social issues within this. I mean, you have eating disorders, you have transgender things going on there. I mean, there's some real big issues, and they're putting them in a fictionalized way to maybe help people who don't understand those particular things understand them a little bit better, or maybe at least destigmatize them, perhaps, which is really good to see. And I'm down for a lot of it. I mean, but the powers aren't as clearly defined as what you got in the boys. There's some weird overlaps and things going on, which I'm not real clear on how, you do this, but you kind of do this too. And I don't know how that, so whatever. I mean, obviously the suspension of disbelief has to work in this, because otherwise, someone's going to get small and get huge, and all kinds of weird stuff going on. But wow, I'm in for this because it's the characters are interesting. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about some of the characters still, because there's some likable things and unlikable things about them, which is
Yeah,
very much like The Boys. So
they're complicated.
I like it. I'm there for it. You should be watching this. This is pretty good, but yeah, don't watch this with your kids unless you want to have a 20 or 30 minute explanation every night about what just happened. So,
Oh, it's like, oh, okay, David, what do you think?
But yeah, I do think you might need to have a child psychologist on line one standing by at times. You really have three-dimensional characters with this
Yeah.
program. The days of the old Superman show that some of us might see at 6 o'clock in the morning, the old black and whites and such. Those clear, definitive good guy, bad guy things out the window here. Really took kind of a turn for the macabre in some ways I wasn't expecting. So I credit the writers for taking us on this journey. It is a lot to handle, though. I mean, and I do think this genre, like science fiction in general, allows one to talk about topics in a universal way where we can get some basic truths.
Yeah.
But it really does take that superhero story. And if you're looking for just good and evil, this isn't it. So it's not your Saturday matinee or even your Saturday evening. It's definitely, you got to check the tickets for who can come and see. I'm not sure that I'm quite mature enough for it myself. But it was neat to see. You got to appreciate the acting and the writing, even if it's a little gruesome. And I could do with a little bit. I could do with a few less eggplant emojis in my face. That's
Yeah, and you know what? There was an exploding dick on one of. I'm sorry, I'm using dicks, but
I am happy to hear David got that emoji. By the way, I want to give you full credit. There you go. Good job.
Yeah,
it's like Pokemon. It's like a Pikachu in my face.
But there was an exploding one. And you know what? When you're trying to sexually assault somebody, it should explode. So I was okay.
FAFO, man. I'm telling you.
FAFO. Every woman out there or person out there probably who has gone through something probably sympathized. Probably was like, yeah. But what I appreciate is the story. And if you take out all the sensational, gruesome aspect of it, it really is an interesting story, and plays well during this kind of spooky season about, the kids are fighting against evil. I mean, it's what they're doing to them is straight up evil. And so it's really something but I really love how they're dealing with traditional teenage issues, bullying, eating disorders, the cutting, suicide, all these big psychological, parents mistreating, their children or using them for fame, which is a tie-in from the regular Boys episodes too. So I think you're seeing some really neat and interesting ways to tell this story, which could have seemed like regular if they didn't have some of this other, but they managed to really up the game on the storytelling. So not for kids whatsoever. This is why the parents should shut the TV off if they catch their kids watching. And I don't normally say that, but this is rough. So definitely, because there are issues, especially for little kids, that parents should have in a different kind of conversation with. So definitely, though, if you're an adult and you sometimes might have to do like this, but
very very
to go into and check out GenV. Okay, up next, here she's back, getting on my last nerve, Sylvie and Loki in the Breaking Bad Brad episode of Loki.
We
Let's
need to
take
know
a
what
look.
happened at the end of time. Find Sylvie.
What would you like?
I want to try everything.
I'm actually really glad to see you both. I need to catch you guys up on what's going on here.
Where are they? Renslayer, Miss Minutes.
Not sure, but I'll keep searching.
We're all gonna die! Oh, hey, nice to meet you. We're all gonna die.
Did you find Sylvie? And if you did, where is she?
Yeah, I can definitely get into it. Do you think this is a higher priority than preventing a temporal meltdown?
Oh, no. I stay focused on the temporal.
I agree.
Okay, I want to start because I'm sick to death of Sylvie. She is the worst human in the universe.
She's not a human,
Oh,
but keep going.
Huh?
She's not a human, but keep going.
Okay, the worst intergalactic being in the universe. All she thinks about is herself at the expense of every living being in the whole multi-universe. And I can't stand her character. I hope she falls into a time stream and is burnt to a crisp and we don't have to deal with her anymore. I'm sick of her self-righteous, stupid character, and I hope that she leaves the show forthwith. Everybody else I loved. But it was interesting, this Brad character, or X5. He's just wanting to live his best life and, become, the Tom Cruise on his timeline and, have everybody love him. I mean, but I think it's, what's his name? Kiwan Kwan once again steals the episode with his just fun. He just seems like he's having a ball doing this, so it just comes through. But I had to watch this episode a couple of times because I just wasn't connecting with the way it's going. So it's better the second time, but not my favorite episode. Pat, give us some breakdown about this.
Okay, Sylvie. Let's talk about Sylvie since you brought a lot up about Sylvie. Sylvie is Loki. I mean, yes, she thinks about herself. That's what they do when you're the villain. The new Loki, the Tom Hiddleston Loki, whatever variant number he is growing and trying to do the right thing. And I mean, it's a new look for Loki. It mirrors a lot of the stuff that's kind of going on with the comic books right now, where Loki's now the ruler of Jotunheim, which is the land of the Frost Giants, which is what he technically was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you're seeing him try to grow. You're seeing Sylvie be Loki. I mean, that's what Lokis do. I mean, to be honest, he's the odd one out of that mold, as it were. So I don't have a problem with her. I do agree that Ki-Hun Kwan is, I'm probably butchering your name. Apologies if you're watching. Obi is delightful. I mean, the esoteric knowledge he obviously has. He's the guy who fixes everything, but but he's so socially he is so socially unaware of things, and he's just delightful because he just says what he's got to say, and he's like, oh well, like the clip you showed, that's more important than doing everything else. No, keep doing that. Oh, okay, cool. But he's just so helpful and everything, and then you get kind of the what the other, I can't remember his name, but the other clerk from the TVA who seems to be kind of a tech. Them two kind of bonding. You see maybe a Casey. Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on. We still don't know where Judge Renslayer is. There's a lot of stuff going on that you need to figure out. And I don't know if we're going to see Jonathan Majors in this. I'm kind of curious because, I know he's been under kind of a bit of a cloud with some things.
I think Disney Plus and Marvel Jonathan Majors,
Well,
so
and I'm okay with that.
Probably will show up because they put this face pretty much on his back. So
his face is everywhere in this episode too. So I suspect he will, but we haven't seen him yet. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing either. But I'm kind of curious to see where we're going with this with the Kangs, because that's going to be a big deal, and it's going to be a big deal, as you just said, going forward with the entire MCU, whatever phase this is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm digging this. I'm liking the Loki, and then Loki. He can downshift right back in that villain, which was really good to see him during the interrogation.
Yeah,
like, ooh, yeah, that was that other guy. That's not me. Oh, and the door's locked. Oh, guess what we're gonna do? Terrible things. And
I like when he made reference. Remember when I went to Earth and I threw him off the building?
Yes.
I was having a moment.
Yeah, I know. It's just the nonchalant evil when he wants it to be on there, and it's working for me. Tom Hiddleston is a delight too, even though he's a known delight, and Ki-Hwan Kwan has been around forever, but he had this big gap in his career, and so now it's like rediscovering Short Round from Indiana Jones. It's another great look, So I'm digging this. I can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, David, what you think?
Well, it took a little bit of time to get into this episode. This season 2 for Loki has not been as exciting for me yet. So I kind of needed to break down some game film a couple of times to make sure I know what I'm seeing. Did like to see our Loki show a little bit of the dark side there, the interrogation, little Abu Ghraib going on there. I don't mind Sylvie. The only thing I would say is we all know that demigods that are kind of just slumming it, they all work at Burger King, not me.
So they can have the crown.
They can have the crown, and they can have it their way. That's what I'm talking about.
Good point.
It's a good episode, and I do love that we are seeing the actor from the Indiana Jones. I will butcher his name. I've called him Short Round. I say that with great love and respect. I want to see him back. To me, it was a travesty and an oversight in the writing that we didn't revisit his character. One of the real strong parts of the Temple of Doom was his character and his relationship with Indiana Jones. I saw a fan fiction action figure photo novel that did a great job of bringing him in. I wish Steven Spielberg and Disney had thought well of that as well. Good show. Looking forward to seeing where we go with it. But it's kind of in the, it's got a case of the Mondays for me so far.
Yeah.
If it has like a must-see Thursday or Friday night, but right now it feels kind of like I'm back at the office. It's 9:00 and I need to get some coffee.
Yeah. And remember, this was shot too during the pandemic too. So there might be some of that lingering kind of malaise that, to me, affected some of the things shot back then, But hey, I just want to see where they're going. It's got to be interesting. But yeah, I agree with you, David. It's kind of like walking through molasses right now, and I'm ready to, kind of like get it into high gear and see some action stuff.
I wonder if part of that this feel is because there's such a long gap between the two. Because if you go back and rewatch it works right into it. I mean, but
okay.
I mean that big gap makes it hard to just pick up where you left off. And this,
and you might be right. That it
really
had I gone back and watched season 1.
Yeah.
But and that's a criticism of the planning and the structure of Disney to have this gap.
2 years too.
But has it? Gosh, it has been though. But I bet you're right. I bet because the first season was really fun. If I watched the episode from the first year and then time traveled to now and watched the next one, I probably would have a more positive feeling about season 2. I think you're right.
It's funny because last week, and I didn't bring it in. I should have. I got my first issue of Alligator Loki.
I was gonna say that's what I want to see in this series. They better have my Alligator Loki.
I have the actual comic of it, and it's delight. I mean, there's no words in it because Alligator Loki don't talk. So there you go.
That's hilarious.
Just pictures. It is a delight.
Oh my gosh, I have got to find this Alligator Loki. That's hilarious. And I mean, they have to have a cameo of Alligator Loki again. That was just,
I can't believe they wouldn't, especially as they put out a comic right now too. It's Marvel and MCU that I'm sure they are hand in hand, if not sleeping in the same bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got to. I got to have me some more Alligator Loki.
If they aren't, that's a really bad thing behind the scenes. And I will say this, I think Disney would do a lot better job if they had a stronger line of communication open with their Hasbro development teams in terms of their marketing and toys to better support these programs. But that's just me on the side.
Yeah. Well, you're our resident collectibles expert, so good commentary. All right. Next up is the mashup of Stepford Wives and Get Out in the office drama, sci-fi drama, The Other Black Girl. Let's take a look.
Nella! Vera! Nella, morning. Someone you have to meet. Hazel, this is Nella. Nella, meet Hazel May McCall. Is it weird of me to say that it's just really nice that you're here?
All you gotta do is just chat a little bit, okay? That is how you move up in the world.
I really don't get good vibes from her. And I don't see what you see.
Malika, as usual, you have it completely backwards. I'm the one you don't want to fuck with.
It's a cult.
What does this mean?
I think I was wrong about Hazel.
I genuinely feel sorry for anyone who was unfortunate enough to be in our way.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to go first. So, in addition to watching it, I also read the book. And so I have to say, you really have to look at them. If you've read the book and you've watched the TV series, that they are separate. I think in episode 5, it takes a big departure from the books. And so it's a really different kind of thing. But I thought it was interesting when I saw that they were doing a series about it, and I was very excited. Rashida Jones is the executive producer, and the actual writer are executive producers, and have written the writer has written some of the episodes. So it's really interesting how they translated it into a TV show. I think that some of the commentary that the book have about being a Black woman in corporate America, or just any kind of work environment, they kind of diminish some of that commentary in it, and enhanced some of they kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of cleaned up the Hazel May character, and kind of did a deconstruction of her character. And so it kind of takes the necessary bite out of from the book to the TV show. And that might be to make it more palatable to a variety of offices. But if you haven't read the book and you just watch the TV show, it's fun, it's different, it's got some really good points, and is really interesting. So I would recommend the book, but I definitely recommend well, I definitely recommend the book, and I recommend not as highly the TV show. David, what did you think?
Well, I have not read the book, so I
Okay,
didn't
good.
have, I wasn't in a
Okay.
position to compare and contrast.
Okay.
As a story,
Yeah.
I thought it was really good and scary. I love the interactions. I mean, this is, in my mind, this is a story of characters and perceptions
Yeah.
and wolves in sheep's clothing kind of deals here that it's a little unsuspecting. And sometimes in the office place it can be down and dirty.
Yeah.
The people, in fact, I was listening to a quote about the gentleman who will not be Speaker of the House, Representative Scalise, who was said to have made too many true enemies and too many false friends. And I think that's kind of that's kind of downplaying what we're seeing here, but it's that same kind of vibe. It was spooky and scary, and it literally at times left me on the edge of my seat to see what was going to happen next. Really enjoyed this, and it's something I don't know if I'll have a chance to read the book, but if you're going to do a show on it, I might have to sit in and be one of your audience members and listen to your critique of the novel itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just watch out on them homemade hair care products somebody giving you don't know.
I don't worry about that.
Grease in your head.
I'm not too worried about home hair care products. I'm just going to
What did you think, Pat?
Now, I didn't get all the way through it. I got through just an episode, really, to be honest. I was running short on time this week. But the first episode was very engaging, and it did really kind of hook me and bring me in. The characters were well drawn, and you see hints of what might be coming, and there is this overwhelming feel of dread, and there's a suspensefulness to it, which I really enjoy a lot in a lot of TV shows, which so much of modern day horror, and I'm making air quotes, is more gore than horror, and less suspense. And this really feels like it had that feel to it, that kind of put you on the edge of your seat type of thing. And it was really doing a wonderful job at building that. I'm going to go finish it, but I didn't have a chance to, but I did enjoy every bit that I did see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the powerful messages about Black women and hair, there had to be a whole new law, the Crown Act, to protect us to go to work, just to have the hair on our head, just as it is. Watching out for, like David said, false friends in these, and that applies to anybody. It's kind of like an All About Eve situation where you think you're mentoring someone, and then here they are, bam, stabbing you in the back, doing what they can to ruin your position. So it is a cautionary tale, but definitely check out the book. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But this is a good kind of suspense thriller for the Halloween season in a new and different kind of way. So definitely check out The Other Black Girl. And don't use homemade hair care products from somebody you don't know. So definitely, we've had a good show this week. Next week, continuing on with the Halloween theme, and I picked it for the fellas, Nicolas Cage's new vampire comedy, Renfield, and the Loki, and as well, another book turned into a TV series, Lessons in Chemistry. So that's what we have next week. David, you got any final words for us?
Just to wish everybody well this October season. Find some tricks and treats that are to your liking. But at the end of the day, be kind. We'll see you later.
All right, Patrick?
I would also second that. Be kind to everybody and be considerate of others and your environment. It's one of those things that's really fresh in my mind. Pick up your trash. Be a good person.
And we
or
want
else.
yeah.
Well,
Don't go out there picking unnecessary fights with people, I would say. But also, you know, there is currently a conflict going on in Israel and Palestine, and we just wish for people to be safe. So pray for the people there. All right, everybody, we will see you next week. Take care. Bye.